The following podcast is an RMG Media production.
Welcome to the Renaissance Podcast, a podcast for Renaissance women
and men
who want to create a modern-day Renaissance in their life and business.
We interview some of the most successful entrepreneurs and share their unique stories.
Are you ready to create your Renaissance? Well, I am so excited to be with you today, Tyler. What a thrill it is to have both of us in Charleston.
I know. I'm so excited.
And you are in town from Raleigh.
Yes.
Which is home for you.
It is home.
Is Raleigh where you grew up, or how did you get to Raleigh?
So I technically grew up in Cary, which is like 15 minutes from Raleigh. But we do make it like if you're from Cary, you're from Cary. If you're from Raleigh, you're from Raleigh. So, But now I live in Raleigh, 15 minutes down the road.
Which everyone that I know that lives in Raleigh or has been to Raleigh is like, Raleigh is it.
I mean, I am biased, but it is great. But it's like, that's why so many people are moving there. Like every year, more and more people keep moving there. Like every day, I don't know the exact statistics, like moving into Wake County where Raleigh is, it's like hundreds of people a day.
Wow. But I've just heard that it's like a very like community centered place and everyone's just very like warm and amazing and like that it's a good place to do business too.
Yeah, it's a great place to do business. Like the schools, like State's there, Chapel Hill's there, Duke is close. So that really adds to it. RTP, so Apple, Google, they're all there. Great hospital system. So it just like brings in, I guess, good quality people on surface layer. And of course, and there's so many things to it. But people are usually nice, But there's a lot of, I think it's also nice because a lot of people are moving in from different states, different areas, but it's like people are moving to Raleigh for a reason. So I think everyone has that similar foundation.
I love that. I'm so curious about just like other communities because I just live in my Nashville bubble, but we're here in Charleston.
But Nashville bubble, I mean, sometimes I want to be part of that bubble. So,
we're waiting for an optimal bio moment in Nashville. We really are.
We may. Nashville, Franklin, we're definitely is on the radar for sure.
Well, you got to call me and we'll do a whole thing. We'll do a podcast there just to announce it.
I love it. We'll do it.
Well, I am so excited. So we are here just to give everyone some context. It's the day before the first ever Renaissance Women's Conference, where Optimal Bio is one of our leading sponsors that is sponsoring our Renaissance Innovators and Influencers panel.
Yes.
Did I say that right? Innovators and Influencers.
It's your conference, so you can say whatever you want. That's the beauty of it.
Oh my gosh. Well, I wanted to name the panel that because I think we do our standard kind of influencer panel out of our Nashville conference, which is always like the most highly anticipated panel that we do. But the women that are on the panel that you are moderating and sponsoring are just so innovative.
Yeah, I think it's perfect, the title, because one of our core values is innovation. So
it's
really
alignment.
matched it, right? The branding is really there. Yeah.
Well, and I'm just curious because we have a lot to unpack with you, but like what piqued your interest in the brand's interest in being a part of this day?
Yeah, I think because a couple of different things, like who you are as a person, who this company is and this conference. Whenever we want to do things, it has to align with who we are because it represents you, right? And you work on your brand every single day, and one thing can ruin it. And so I think what you just said, the innovation, the brand building, the community, the focus on women, I think it's not always in business. And I love to be part of that because it is different. And so that's a summary of why we wanted to. And of course, since we have an office in Charleston, even though I don't live here, we want to make sure we're always in the community of where we're at.
And you started with Optimal Bio in 2018 and walk us through what the career trajectory has been because you have taken this company so far and you are so young and you are just like this, and when I met you, I think I was expecting you to be tall.
Yeah, I'm not tall.
You are the cutest little person. I'm also an Amazon, so you were probably like, wow, okay, wow. I'm very tall. But anyway, you are just like this dynamo businesswoman. And the business has exploded in such a short period of time.
Yeah. So I think everyone's career trajectory is all over the place, right? Would I say I'm going to be a CEO? That never crossed my mind, but it's probably a good thing because if people are saying that, they probably shouldn't be being a CEO. But
you wouldn't want to be, right?
Right? Yeah, I didn't know.
If you really knew.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're like, oh, like, aren't you lucky? I'm like, granted, I would never want to do something different, but I'm like, you just don't understand. And it's a different thing, right? But any job could say that. So I went to law school. But going into law school, I knew I wanted to be on the business side of things. So I got my MBA when I was in law school. But before that, growing up, I always thought I was going to be a doctor. So I guess it's kind of full circle that now I work in medicine every day and I love it. But after I graduated law school, I moved up to DC, working up there for a few years. And then I moved back to Raleigh. And the medical director of Optimal Bio is my dad. And so he was an OB for over 30 years in Cary, then started doing hormone replacement therapy. And he was like, can you come help us at the hormone office? And I said, absolutely not. Like, good luck, but no. He asked again. I'm the firstborn, so you always say yes. Like, so I was like, okay, like, I'll come help you guys. And it was like no process in place, paper charts everywhere. I love organization. I'm sure you love organization, love a process. And so went in there, created SOP. So like step one, unlock the door to any process we do. We have an SOP for. We went paperless. So kind of like put them like organization process in place. And then I was like, okay, good luck. I'm going to step away. And then someone recommended, he was like, you need to stay and create your own company. And I was like, that's wild. I'm 28, never thought about this. And so I was like, I'll give it a year. You're my mentor. And we'll see what happens. And then that was 2019. And then since then, we rebranded to Optimal Bio and we've opened 7 locations and have hired a whole team and we're always hiring.
Yeah, I saw you were just hiring last week after you posted on your story. And I was like, man, the growth, which is so interesting. There's so many interesting things that you just said, but like the nature of the economy right now is super interesting too. Very. And it's super interesting for small business.
Yes.
And like, we know like from our clients that we service, like everyone's sort of feeling it right now. I feel like at the beginning of the year, everyone's kind of like, is it going to happen? What's going to happen? And then at the end of the year, I do think it's like, people are feeling it. How has this kind of economy affected you guys at all?
So I think a couple different things. Like we are very focused on education, internal team, but also educating our patients. And we always say we don't want to be the average health care, the doctor experience. Of course, there's great experiences out there, but we've really come so far away from the patient journey and the patient education, which why you should be in healthcare, right? So we go back to that. And so before a patient even comes in for their consultation, they have like a free consultation on the phone, going over the science of hormones, the importance of hormones, our process. So I think that helps us really show the why for a patient, right? Because they don't have to come see us. So explaining this is how we can help you and keep you out of other doctor's offices, save you money on the back end. Because with health, you're either going to pay to keep you healthy or you're going to pay when you're sick.
So much more when you're sick.
So much more when you're sick. And then also people don't understand, like, your health is the foundation for your life. If you don't feel good, the relationship with yourself is not going to be good, with your family, with your friends, with your work. So we really try to make the patients aware of that because we're so far removed from like how we feel. So bringing that to them. For instance, like 2020 was our best year, in a time of like so much crazy and wild. And of course, there's so many different reasons why, like every year we grow because we're a small business, so we want to grow, right? But also I think people were like, why in such a weird year? My neighbor is doing better than me. Of course, there's a different definition of better. So I think that really helped us grow because we stayed true to who we were and people were more interested in their health at that time. So backstory of the why, like really trying to educate the why. So we are still doing well, growing each month. Towards the end, like November was a slower month for us, but still growth year to year, because of the holidays too. But then also December, we're already 100 over where we were at November of last month. So we're growing, but we're always staying constant on what is happening because, again, patients don't need us to be here. So why we want to start the moment we talk to a patient, the education piece and their experience of anyone you talk to on the team. So they like, okay, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm giving their money, my money, because there's a lot of going on. And why should they be a patient with us?
Man. Yeah. And I think too, like we have a lot of like small business owners and entrepreneurs that listen to this
Yeah.
show, and we're all very burnout, right? Like, right. And especially in this quarter,
Yeah.
we're tired.
Yeah.
We're probably more than likely not putting ourselves first,
Yeah.
not putting our
Yeah.
health first. And I think that, I don't know anything about science. I don't know anything about
Yeah.
what you do. Well, I do take progesterone.
Love that.
And that's one of the
Yes.
reasons why when Brittany approached, I was like,
Yep.
oh my gosh, I just personally,
Yep.
selfishly want to
Yep.
learn more about it. But for me as a business owner, like my sleep over the last year being, I don't know if it was postpartum or what, but out of whack.
Yeah.
Like just like my husband would be like, what's wrong? And I'd be like, well, it's been 72 hours since I
Yeah.
slept.
Right.
And he's like, how are you doing
Right.
life? And I'm like, I don't know. Adrenaline
Yep.
and coffee.
Exactly.
And like walk us through like how I feel like the majority of our problems stem from hormone issues.
Yes. So no one talks about it enough. And I feel like every year the conversation about hormones is getting bigger and bigger, which is so
Great.
wonderful. I'm like, yes, because hormones are the foundation of our health. People kind of talk about hormones like, when you're 13, 14, they're like, oh, hormones, and then menopause, but nowhere in between, like where we
The
live.
majority of life.
Right. And both men and women.
Yeah.
And so, for instance, testosterone has over 500 functions in our body. Every cell has a testosterone receptor. So we need testosterone, right? So we always say like gas to a car, testosterone to our body. And also people think of testosterone as a male hormone. It's a human hormone. We all need testosterone. And so and like you said, sleep. So the top reasons why we see people every day, male, female, 20 or 60, anxiety, depression, fatigue, trouble sleeping. But the top two are fatigue, brain fog, trouble sleeping, because your hormones play such an impact. So progesterone helps you go to sleep. Testosterone keeps you asleep.
So do you think I need
I mean,
do I also need I needed to come see you guys? Is what I need.
we always joke, but like we're also very serious. Everyone needs testosterone.
Wow.
If everyone had testosterone, the world would be a better place. I'm 33. I'm on testosterone
Love that.
because as we age, our hormones decrease, but because of environmental factors, our hormones are decreasing at a lot quicker rate. So for instance, like our goal range for female testosterone is 90 to 300. If you get your blood work back, the normal range for female testosterone is 0 to 20. That's normal. And it's like, well, where do you get those levels? Normal is the average of the population. So every year, the normal range decreases because we're getting sicker as a population, whereas our goal ranges were literally what our grandparents were walking around at before these environmental factors. Because have you heard of xenoestrogens?
No.
So they're in like our food, our water, our beauty supplies, our cleaning supplies. And so our body thinks it's estrogen. So then our body stops producing our own testosterone, why we're all so much lower.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty crazy. Cause I
Yeah.
feel like, and there's, like you said earlier, the education is getting more about like cleaning products, like
Yes.
specifically, like I tell my cleaner, if you use Fabuloso in my house, I can't live.
Yeah.
I have to move
Right.
out for a week.
No
because
question.
It's like,
You might need a new house, honestly.
literally.
Yes.
And I can just feel my
Yep.
body like hating it.
Yep.
Are there some things that we are doing as like go people? I'm mostly speaking to women here. We always put our own health last.
Always.
That we're doing that we could like better like do to support our hormones?
Yeah, I was like easiest things, like you just said, your cleaning supplies, you're surrounded by that. So I would say like any Febreze, Glade plugins, anything scented,
out.
literally throw it out. Like scented trash bags, no. Like
No.
I will walk into like an Airbnb and I can smell it. And I will like grab any Glade plug-in, any trash. Like I sound like a crazy person, but like once you know what it's doing to your body, and like you said, like I'll get a headache within minutes.
Mhm.
So I think that's the easiest way is just get rid of anything scented. If you have like an air freshener in your car, get rid of it. Like anything scented, throw out. Sadly, candles, one of the most toxic things for you.
So sad this time of year. So
I
sad.
know.
But you're
And there's like a couple of good companies that have like non-toxic candles, but anything like fragrance in your beauty supplies,
perfume.
perfume. I know I don't wear perfume anymore. It's very sad, but like you can't.
No.
Yeah.
And it's a very scary thing, especially when you take it out and
Yep.
then you're so much more sensitive to it, like you just said.
Yeah, like I want Uber to make like an option that you can click like no fragrance.
I
Because
agree.
anytime I get in an Uber and I see it, I'm like literally put my
Put the window down and
exactly.
you're just like,
Right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Well, and I love that you talked about systems and processes
Mhm.
just to kind of go into our business
Yeah.
because I'm very in that like phase of my business right now where it's like, I want the most minuscule thing
Yeah.
to have an SOP.
Yes.
Like, because it makes it efficient. And when you look at you guys and how many locations you've opened in such a quick period of time, we know that's because you've got your systems down. You're able to train more efficiently. You're able to say, here's the book of optimal bio,
Right.
the Bible, if you will.
Yes.
And now run your practice.
Right.
Can you speak a little bit on that and kind of like what you've learned when it comes to systems and processes as a CEO?
Yeah, because the little things are the big things, right? And we see patients. And so anything that happens internally is going to affect the patient. And like you said, like we want any patient to walk in any single office and get the exact same experience. And because quality is it should be the highest. I think at any company, but especially when you are in charge of their health, there should be no questions. And like you said, training and hiring is the hardest thing you can do. And so if you don't have systems, if you don't have process, you don't have a foundation to one, train or to grow your company. Because then it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Because you can do all the training and there's still going to be issues. But if you don't have that foundation to go back to, then there's nothing you can build upon.
And with the other locations, are they corporate owned or franchise?
Oh no, I own all of them. There's no
Amazing.
franchise. No.
You either love the franchise model or you don't, I've learned.
And I think sometimes it can work well. Like I'm not saying anything, but I think for us specifically, because how do you keep that control of that quality? And again, we're seeing patients.
Totally. It's
Yeah.
different. This is a very like, it's a very specific thing and
Correct.
it's very, well, how do you know, like from a business standpoint, if we have someone listening that's like, I really want to get to that point where I can open a second location because I mean, that's your scaling model, right? Like how do you know when it's time? Is it just, okay, well, my accountant says we got this much in the bank, we're ready to roll? Or what does that look like?
It's like, when do you ever know?
Yeah.
So I think that's also part of being a business owner, a CEO. You just have to make a decision. It might be a bad decision. It might be a good decision. It might be an okay decision, but our job is to make decisions. And making a decision is very hard. Most people can't make decisions. So I think people need to understand, like, we're doing the best we can, but our job is to make a decision.
And be quick to it.
Quick to it.
You can't pitter patter. It has to be. And I mean, how many
Exactly.
times a day do you have someone come to you and say, Tyler, I need Tyler.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
you can't, you really don't, because if you're trying to grow fast, you don't have the luxury to say, let me get back to you by EOD tomorrow or next week or whatever. Like you have to do it then.
And I think it goes back to your first question a few minutes ago about process in place. There are so many moving parts. So in order to help prepare answering the right questions, have your team be able to answer those questions, you have to have that process. So how do we know when we need to open, like we can open a location? Yes, like financial is key, right? You need to have money. You can't just blow all your money because, you know, most businesses don't reach 5 years. And a lot of times it's because of cash, or I think it's a problem like you think you're making a lot of money, but in order to run a successful, efficient business, it takes money, right? So we have a couple like numbers, like where are we at in one office, and then the demographics of the locations is huge, and then the team. So the way we opened the first 5 locations, I traveled to every office and I was the patient coordinator. So we literally built each office. Like we would be in Cary in the morning, then we'd go to Charlotte in the afternoon to literally see 1-2 patients. And then that's how we built those offices originally. So this is the first year we actually had a full team in every office to start the year. But like they say, the things that got you to here are not what's gonna grow and is actually gonna hinder. So I do not travel to be a patient coordinator anymore. We have to have those that team in place. So the team, you have to have a team that you can rely on, and that you know when they go into the office and train them, you trust them. You know they're doing it right. So the team, which is the hardest part, to be able to hire and to grow the team.
And to find those rock stars that you can really trust.
Exactly.
Because it's like you said, you were that boots on ground person for so long.
Yep.
And that was a system that worked until it didn't. Because
Exactly.
Tyler cannot be everywhere at once.
Exactly.
She's a busy girl.
Yes.
How, when it comes to like hiring and you're finding like that I know you want, everyone to be the rock star always, but that's not super feasible, right? Like you have to have, your leaders. What traits do you look for when you're hiring like those team leads, if you will?
I always say, but people will say like, what are the qualities? What is like, how can I grow in my role? And I'm like, literally just show up and do the work. Like just show up and do the work, because 95% of people don't. They want to read a book or read a podcast of how to be a leader, how to be better. And yes, I literally live in my car and I listen to podcasts all the time. But just showing up and doing the work and doing the hard work. It's very hard to be a leader and have those hard conversations and to get better. And like I said, like make a decision, because most people aren't leaders and that is fine. But if you want to be a leader, you can't be most people. Right. So that's like how you structure your day. How do you get better? So show up and do the work, initiative, take initiative.
Yeah.
Like, and
own it.
Do the job you want. People want to be promoted, want to make more money, but they don't want to do the job and they don't want to do the job they want. So that's like, those are the things that I want.
The managing piece is always for me going to be the hardest, but then it just makes you love your people that are crushing it so much more when you've gone through
Oh my gosh. I'm like, thank you. I actually sent an email the other day. I was like, I don't know how I can say like, I appreciate you, because like, thank you. Because people is the hardest. When everyone's like, what's your hardest part of your job? I think they're going to think like finance, spreadsheets, opening locations. I'm like, it's people, because there's always something. And at
curveballs.
Yes. And like, it's a lot to manage. And so exactly, the one you find the good ones, you're like so thankful.
And I love when you said earlier that it was like your dad that said, you like, was it him that was like, you need to run this business?
It was someone else, actually.
Oh, it was someone else.
It was someone else. Yeah.
Okay. Wait, what was that? So who was it that said that to you?
So it was one of actually someone that my dad knew.
Okay.
And then I knew of him. It was like a dad in Cary. So someone I respected as a person, but also as a business person.
Okay. That's cool. I was gonna say, because it was my dad that said to me, you need to own your own social media agency and stop doing it for other people and like working for other people. And it was like that light bulb moment. I would have never had that idea on my own. I just think it's interesting how it can take other people to bring out the CEO in you, to bring out the leader in you. And I'm not the firstborn in our family, but I'm the firstborn girl.
Oh, so you're the firstborn.
So I have like the firstborn tendencies, but then I have a little bit of the people pleaser because I'm in the middle also, which sucks. But
I think we're all people pleasers, to be honest. Yeah.
It's my toxic trait. I'm really trying to go into 2024 not giving a flying what about. You know what I mean? I think that also comes with age too. Like I'm in my 30s, I'm 31 and I'm like, I just feel like every year in my 30s thus far is like the caring that just falls down.
I love getting older because every year you just become more at peace with yourself and you just let a little piece. Of course, you're always going to care, right? But like you just kind of let it go. And then like the saying, do you want to be respected or liked? Just like telling yourself that all the time. Because like if someone likes you, then they're going to respect you.
Amen. Do you want to be respected or liked? I love that so much. Okay. Well, as we're wrapping, I want to know from you, you're so busy. I mean, I can't even, I'm actually, as you're talking, I'm like, the fact that you're here with us today is like such an honor.
But we're all so busy.
I know, Tyler, but like you're busy. So you're like a different breed of busy. How do you keep yourself sane? Because you have such a large team across the Carolinas and the Virginia. And like, how do you like manage it all? And do you take time off? What do you do on the weekends? Like,
so like simple non-negotiables. I work out every morning. So
love a workout in the morning.
If I could have a team rule that you have to work out in the morning, I would, because we could have a whole podcast about the benefits of working out and in the morning. But I work out most mornings. It's my time. I don't have to think about anything else. I don't think about my workout. So that's key. Keeps me sane for sure. I like eat very healthy, which again, we could talk about this forever. Like your food is either going to make you feel better or make you feel worse, right? Like food is medicine. So that's key. I do love traveling, like whether it's 30 minutes away, a 4-hour plane ride away, but it like just gives me life. It helps perspective, right? Because then you're like, this whole world's so busy. Or what is this person doing? Like, how did they get there? So I love traveling. I love college football.
Who's your team? Is it silly that I'm asking?
Oh, no, not at all. It's like a little complicated, but I have a few teams. So I went to NC State in Raleigh, and I went to USC, South Carolina. So those like will be my two main ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they rival? I don't know anything about football.
They don't.
Okay.
They don't. So it's fine. And then
So it's fine. It's healthy.
Yeah.
It's good.
you know, exactly.
Yeah.
And then my dad went to USC Southern Cal. So I grew up being that USC
That's
fan.
confusing.
It is very,
Like,
it is.
which?
Exactly. And when I was in high school, they were so good. So like, that's my number one, like hurts my soul when they're not good.
Okay.
team.
Were you
Yeah.
like a football family growing up, or was it?
Honestly, just me and my dad.
You and your dad.
Like,
I love
like
that.
we always
Like your
joke, like
thing.
I'm their firstborn son as well.
Yeah, you
because
are. Yeah.
I love sports. I love college football, but it was
How many
yeah.
siblings?
The oldest of 7. Yeah, it's wild.
My husband is the second youngest of 7.
Oh,
so that's really,
wow.
but
that is so crazy.
But you don't meet a lot
No,
of
you
that.
don't.
And
Yeah.
wow, so that was super interesting.
So growing up, there's 4 of us. So my 3 youngest sisters were adopted. So like we adopted when I was like in college. So it's not like 7 of us grew up in one house, because I can only imagine, because it's crazy now and we're all
but
like
it's
much older.
Crazy with 4. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
one of 4. Walker's my brother, and it was wild.
Yeah.
But like, 7. Throw a couple
Wild.
extra in there. It's
Right.
like, whew.
But yeah, I mean, so like
Yeah.
growing up with a lot of siblings, there's always something.
But that's interesting with your career too.
Mhm.
Is like you're kind of used to the chaos a little bit.
Oh, that's so, 100%. 100%. And I think too, like when I was 6, I was oldest of 4 already. And I think subconsciously I figured out like, I just got to figure it out on my own. But yes.
They're parallels of you being the leader,
Yeah.
guys, like,
Yeah.
you're corralling
But yeah,
kids.
the
like,
office can be like running around and like, I could fully focus.
and
Like
get
there's
stuff done.
and like someone will be like saying something to me. I'm like, you have to like say my name because I'm fully focused on what I'm doing. So yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as we're wrapping, so 3 more questions for you.
Yeah.
One is, what is your most proud achievement? Could be personal or professional of
Yeah.
2023, since we're right at the tail end.
I would say definitely. So as a business owner, business is your personal life. It's all intertwined. Like this whole work-life balance, it doesn't exist for anyone. And I think we'd all much be happier if we realized that and blended the two. But I would say growing the team. So for over 12 months now, we are training and hiring every single month.
That's like,
So yeah.
that's scale. That is
yeah.
scale.
So that's the biggest like team achievement, because I couldn't do it without the team. But being able to train, hire, and grow patients every single month at the same time, I think is huge, and keep that quality.
Man, congratulations. I mean, that is just, if you've hired, one person, can you just imagine like that many people?
Yeah.
Like that is remarkable growth. Congratulations.
Thank
That
you.
really is, just from someone who's trying to get to that point. It is so, and it's just hard, and it's a weird economy. Like I said, it's a
Yeah.
weird
It's a
time.
very weird time.
But it is so possible. And it is
Yeah.
so possible for people, like you said, that put in the work,
Mhm.
that care,
Mhm.
and that have that drive,
Yep.
and that work out in the morning.
you have to work out in the morning. Like just work out in the morning.
Y'all, if you get any
Yes.
takeaway from today's episode, I missed my workout this morning, and I normally didn't really sleep because I don't have my progesterone with me.
See, exactly.
I'm all off. And
Progesterone
I just,
puts you asleep.
It puts you to sleep, and
Yep.
they don't have it in Charleston.
Yeah.
So anyway, but okay. And then my other question is, going into 2024, what are you most excited about?
So we are opening an office in Austin, Texas. And every other office we have, I know, I'm so excited.
So
I love
excited.
Austin.
Yeah.
Every other office I can drive to. Within 4 hours, I can be at that office. Austin, I can't do that. And so it's a different time zone. So it's going to bring different challenges, which I love.
Love a challenge.
I love a challenge.
Yeah.
And it will also help us be better as a company. So I think just figuring that out, or like small things like we have our team meetings at 8 a.m. on Tuesdays. Well, is that 7 a.m. Central? So what is that going to look like? So just like working through that process, and we're opening this office very differently. So just doing, like still opening an office, but different. So what are we going to learn from that, which I'm very excited about. And how can you not be excited about Austin?
Totally. We've actually talked about bringing the conference there. So that's crazy. Like I love Austin. There's some of my favorite like influencers and just people that exist in that city. It's such an entrepreneur forward city.
It is. Do you listen to the Skinny Confidential Yeah. I know. I'm like, you remind me of Lauren. So
Lauren is like, if I could have any, I'm going to put it out into the universe. If I could have a keynote speaker for any of our conferences, it'd be Lauren Bostick.
Yeah.
She's like incredible.
I went to their conference this year in Austin and it was really neat.
Oh my God. The Dear Media.
Yeah.
Every podcast they have is like so incredible. I know. I'm like ready for them to come to Nashville and do something so we can like collaborate.
I'm coming too then. I'm inviting myself. I will be there.
No, you and I will co-host. Yes. Like we'll do
great,
it. It'll be so fun. Well, okay. And then so just a couple things you said in this episode just really resonated with me. I think when it comes to being a Renaissance woman, which I'm going to ask you about in a minute, it really is someone who really takes the risk. Yeah. And you have just throughout so much of your career, you've done that. It's like you just go head on. You're scared. It doesn't mean you're not intimidated. It doesn't mean you're not scared, but you really have to love that challenge because that's where the growth comes from. And I just feel like that's been the whole theme is for you is like just take the risks, do the hard things. Know, they're going to be really hard, but nowhere gets to this level of success without going through some trenches. You know,
100%.
So what is your definition of a Renaissance woman?
Like you said, so I think we're in a society that wants to be comfortable, but you don't do anything when you're being comfortable. So I say being uncomfortable, taking risk, and just realizing that you are going to be different if you want a different life and being okay with that.
So good. Okay. Tylar Brannon, CEO of Optimal Bio, is our amazing guest here in Charleston. We have our conference tomorrow.
So exciting.
She is going to be on our stage. We have her walkout song, which is so good, by the way. I just have to say, it was we had it like when we asked everyone their walkout, it was a lot of Beyonce. It was not what I expected, but then we were all singing it last night and we were like, this is awesome.
I know the walkout song because I'm like, many different ways you can go with it. I love rap, but I was like, is this a vibe?
Oh.
And no offense to Beyonce, but like, that's just not who I am.
And that's what I appreciated so much about it when I got it. I was like, this is Tyler. Yeah, and this is kind of everything you need to know about Tyler. She's like, love Taylor Swift, but like, this is my walkout song.
Right.
So, okay, guys. Well, thank you for listening. Wish us luck tomorrow. It's going to be a beautiful day. The weather looks amazing. And thank you, Tyler, for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Thank you.